Between the years of 1993 and 2007, an unidentified individual sent out bombs throughout the Veneto and Friuli-Venezia regions of Italy. Over 30 bombs were planted and discovered or detonated. In all of that time, no one has successfully been charged for the crimes. Who committed such crimes and why? Join us today as we look into the Italian Unabomber.
Welcome back to
Unknown,
Unsolved,
Unseen,
Triple U.
Woohoo! Welcome back to episode 87 of the podcast. I'm your careful host, Frank.
I am your slightly injured host, Sage.
Yeah, so Sage has, I don't know what's the word for it, something like scapula.
Scapular dyskinesia.
Yeah, so her one arm is not the most operable right now.
Yeah, basically it just means that all the muscles in my arm are inflamed and they're mad at me, is how the guy put it.
It means you can't hold the baby next week.
It does. He's light.
Okay.
We'll let your sister figure that out.
Yeah, but for announcements today, there isn't really much of anything to point out. Just, the usual, go follow, like, comment, review, subscribe on whatever you're listening on. Just putting that out there early, and we got some fun collabs coming up.
Yeah, and sorry about audio issues last week. We kind of knew that going in, or like not going into the episode, but going into editing.
Yeah.
But we didn't really have a chance to re-record that episode,
and it's hard
stinks.
To organically re-record an hour and a half worth of podcast. So hopefully this week does not have that same issue.
We hope so. We will be getting some new stuff. We're very thankful to one of our podcast friends for helping us out and getting a new
check in on that, see where that's at.
new set of microphones. So hopefully we can get that figured out.
Yeah, new for us, used for them, but I think better than ours because ours are definitely still our cheaper original ones.
Yep, we'll hopefully get it figured out.
All right, today I'll be getting back into the nitty gritty and doing an unsolved true crime episode. Sage, I'm stealing your thing.
How dare you?
And this time we go in a spicy.
A spicy meatball.
Are you familiar with the Unabomber?
Is that racist? To say spicy meatball?
Maybe, I don't know. I am part Italian, so I'm good.
I am not at all Italian, other than the fact that I love pizza.
Okay, then you can't say that because I won't be offended for them.
Wow, okay. Am I familiar with the Unabomber? Or the Italian Unabomber?
The Unabomber, first off.
Well, yeah, I spoke about him last week.
Yep. How familiar are you with the Italian Unabomber? Probably didn't know that one existed. Yep. Well, this is something not as talked about as Ted Kaczynski. This is going to be a fairly long episode, so strap in, everyone. So, just a heads up on this. I might have some Italian in me. My dad's mom was Italian.
She was pasta grandma.
We did call her pasta grandma.
I've never met her, but she sounds lovely.
She passed away when I was in kindergarten.
But so, I love the name pasta grandma. That is the cutest thing ever.
So I'm going to still mispronounce probably most of the Italian words in here because it's mostly Italian. Some things might sound a bit weird because I had to then translate a bunch of things with Google Translate, so things might be wrong and I might get some facts a little wrong because of that. Most of my sources were in Italian because English sources on this case are very bad.
Well, take it away.
All right.
To Italy.
Trigger warning. There will be talk about maiming of people and kids, bombings, and attacks aimed towards children and religious buildings.
I would hope that, if you're clicking on an episode titled The Italian Unabomber, that you would recognize that there will likely be discussion of bombs.
Yeah.
So, but nonetheless, if you don't want to listen, we'll see you next week. Yep. We're going to get into something a little bit spooky.
Yeah. So, I have actually written here again. This is similar to the Frankfurt sewer murders in the way where There are not many easily accessible sources for English speakers, or just in general as well. Fortunately, the Italian Unabomber shares a moniker with the American Unabomber, so many of the sources connect to the American one, and it's harder to find sources on the Italian Unabomber.
Is there a reason it's called Unabomber?
Because, Ted Kaczynski was called the Unabomber or something. I forget what it was. Something with like university or something.
Oh.
Or UNA something. I forget. But because the Italian bomber was doing various bombings, they just gave him the same name. He called the Mono Bomber at one point, and then people just started calling him the Italian Unabomber.
That's dumb, but okay.
And it's assumed that I say he here and there. Most people believe that it is a man, not a woman, but some people think it could be either.
Okay.
Did you know that there's versions of Wikipedia for other languages?
I did. I only knew that from one of my previous, I think, episodes where, was it French Canadian? I think I was doing. It was the one last week for MK Ultra when I was talking about the one Canadian guy. There was because he was if I recall correctly,
MK Ultra episode.
His university that was in Montreal, and so there was like some French stuff that I had to that was on a translated wiki, or like on a wiki, but.
Well, I had to find the Italian Wikipedia, and that's where I found most of my information, and most of the sources were from the references in there. Which is nice. It's like when I did my Saber-Toothed Cryptid Cats, I found the French version of Wikipedia, and that's how I found some stuff on the Netty Tiger.
That's French. Sacre bleu.
But once I found this source, everything I was doing on this episode exploded tenfold in what I was writing. I'm at 10 pages on this, and originally I thought I was going to be at 5.
And that's pretty rare for you, to go that long. I'm used to writing out because mine are all bulleted and stuff, and you're just do single bullet points, right?
Yes.
And so 10 pages is crazy.
Yeah. So this is going to be way more accurate than what it originally was. So starting off, if you look up this case, you'll most likely find that it is said it all started in August of 1994. That's what it says on the English version of the wiki. But when I found Italian sources on the wiki, it actually points to this going back to 1993 for the first bombing. Just so you don't have to say the country name every single time, all of this happened in Italy, hence the name the Italian Unabomber. So every location I give you is in Italy. I do not know if each is a province, a town, city, hamlet, state. I don't know. I just put the names that were listed on there. It was a lot of work just to figure that out, on which ones were the right locations. On December 8th, 1993, in Portoguaro, Portovecchio, a bomb explodes, destroying a telephone booth. December 8th is the celebration of the Immaculate Conception, and I believe it is celebrated in Italy. I believe this is a Catholic celebration. Nobody was injured during the bombing. This is the only one to occur in 1993.
How close was that to the Vatican?
Not that close, I think.
I was just curious.
I'm pretty sure there's more closer to Venice and stuff.
Oh, okay. I was just curious since it was on a particular day that has to do with the Christian religion.
The details of the bomb weren't determined, and it looks like it was later connected to the Unabomber, post after this happened. It appears to be debated on whether this one was associated with the Unabomber or not, and if it was just a one-off random bomb that somebody did, which is a weird thing to say.
Decided to create a bomb and just do it once.
Yep. We then move over into 1994. There's quite a lot of time between the first and second bombing. The second bombing happens on August 21st, 1994, in Sicily on the day of the 721st edition of the Sagra de Osse, which is a bird parade for songbirds that is held annually.
My grandmother would love that. Love to tell her.
This is attended by at least about 50,000 people at the time. I don't know how much it is now. So this is a huge event for the area, for that many people to come out. Any event drawing 50,000 people is substantial. I do see some conflicting reports, and I will trust the Italian source more than the English one. At 10:45 a.m., a woman named Daniela Pasquale, 40 years old, found an iron pipe near a hydrangea bush. This iron pipe was between a fountain and a telephone booth. It was approximately 30 centimeters long and was packed with explosives and glass marbles. Do you know why it would be packed with glass marbles?
Well, if glass shatters, it's going to create projectile shrapnel pieces that are...
Yep. you'll see some of the
Could have just shred into skin.
Some of these bombs were made with shrapnel.
And this was between a telephone booth and
a fountain.
Interesting that telephone booth was a part of two of them, wasn't it? Wasn't the first one?
This is, I think, the second one with a telephone booth, and I forget, there might be 3 or 4 overall.
I wonder why.
But he looks for places where people find the items. It's definitely you can tell that he looks...
Like, rather than it just blows up when someone's near it, but more so they want the person to pick it up.
He wants somebody to pick it up. I think they're intentionally made to be picked up by just how these are.
Okay.
So, shrapnel is a huge danger. Like, when people throw grenades, shrapnel is the killer, if I'm not mistaken, with frag grenades, which is why they're called frag grenades, fragmentation.
Well, that's why, like, if I recall correctly, like, the Boston Marathon bombings, like, that has a lot of shrapnel. Like, they had shrapnel. That's where a lot of the injuries came from as well.
So, this woman, she picked up the item, and it exploded in her hand. She was slightly injured, and so were 2 of her children. Aww. Ivan, 32. I don't know if that age is right. She's 40 years old.
Her child is definitely not 32.
Might be 23. I might have been wrong. I can't remember. There's so many sources, all with the same web page, website, different articles. So I have to check. And Carmen, 11. Could have just written Ivan then.
Is it possible that it's 12? Is it 12 and?
No, it wasn't 12. I think it was 23.
Okay.
It was older. But in Carmen, 11, it is the Italian Unabomber's first pipe bomb. She only needed a few stitches, which is fortunate for her that close to the bomb.
Yeah.
Police were not suspected of a serial bomber yet and looked more into this as just being a terrorist attack, maybe eco-terrorists.
What's a eco-terrorist?
They attack stuff because the earth is dying and nobody's doing shit about it.
That seems counterintuitive, but okay.
Sometimes you need a revolution, is what people say.
It's not that. I'm saying blowing stuff up isn't really going to help carbon emissions.
Nope. The next attack takes place just shy of 4 months later on December 17th of 1994. Another pipe bomb, similar to the one in the first attack, explodes in front of a Standa supermarket in Piazza del Popolo. Once again, it was hidden, this time under a hedge, and went off around closing time. A girl was slightly injured by fragments of a shop window. A good example of shrapnel being the main harm here.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't a large gap for the next bombing. Next bombing happened on December 18th. And
the next day?
Yep.
Holy shit.
Aviano, one day after the previous bombing. This was the 4th Sunday of Advent. A bomb was hidden in a bush near a churchyard on Saints Maria and Juliana Church. The bomb goes off as churchgoers are leaving mass, and fortunately no one is injured in this attack. It's good to have a kind of unsuccessful attack. Unfortunately, a bomb went off, but best case scenario, no one's hurt.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, happily no one's hurt. Would have been great if there was no bomb to begin with, but you know.
The next bombing happened in 1995 on March 5th in Azzano Decimo. A carnival was happening and 2 bombs exploded during it. Both were just a few hundred meters apart from each other. The explosions blended in well with the festivities, and no one was injured again. Unfortunately, that fact does not last.
Aww.
Over 6 months later, the next attack happens. 2 separate bombs are found in Pordenone on September 30th. 70-year-old Anna Pignot was cleaning up the sidewalk in front of her house. She saw 2 10,000 Lyre bills, which was Italy's currency pre-euro. They were wrapped under them was a bomb. She picked it up and it exploded. She was seriously injured and had to have her arm amputated.
Aww.
That one was terrible.
Yeah. How old was she?
She was 70 years old.
Oh, she went her whole life.
Yep.
Oh.
On the same day, a woman finds a bomb and takes it home. The following day, October 1st, when she realizes she has an unexploded bomb while watching the news, she loads it onto her bike and takes it to the police. The police detonate it instead of performing analysis. In hindsight, it might have been better to try and analyze it instead of destroying it at the time.
Hold on. So, a few things to just clarify there. One, it didn't explode, obviously, when she picked it up. It didn't explode in the entire bike ride.
Nope.
That she went, okay. And then the police said, okay,
detonated.
I guess I could understand that if we took, because essentially the last thing you want to do is be pulling it apart.
Yeah, in case it detonates, because it's also hard to pull apart without getting close.
But you can analyze, at least today, bomb fragments to determine how the bombs were put together. I mean, that is part of...
To an extent, depends on what's destroyed in the explosion and what's not, depending on how much packed into it. These bombs weren't made to do like a huge, large explosion.
Yeah.
Like if you're doing a large explosion, you don't have much material left. If you're these ones, you typically do have some shrapnel left. So bombings keep happening, however. On December 11th of the same year, we're still in 1995.
Almost my birthday.
In Aquilia, a bomb goes off under a telephone booth and the booth explodes. Third time a telephone booth is targeted, no one is injured.
Oh my gosh.
On December 24th, Christmas Eve, another bombing similar to the previous occurs in Ladisana. Telephone booth, no one injured. 2 days later, on December 20th.
Is it still going off because someone's picking it up? They just happen not to be injured?
Some of them are not because of that. Some of them are on a timer.
Oh, okay.
I think they're all on a timer, but also whenever you're jostling or handling a homemade bomb, you're at a higher risk of accidentally setting it off early.
Yeah.
On December 26th, Boxing Day, in Bibione, I think that's how you say it, a bomb goes off. This is a well-known seaside resort, and it is a province of Venice. It is not reported that anyone was injured in this one. The next attack takes us into 1996. On April 2nd, 1996, in Clot, an explosion occurred in the small town of Friuli-Dolomites. No one is injured in this attack. On April 22nd, in Bonia, another bomb goes off with no one injured again. Then on Sunday, August 4th, 1996, in Bibione, another bomb was discovered. At 6 a.m., a lifeguard found a pipe and picked it up. He shows it to another lifeguard and tells him about how beautiful of a pipe it is. That's what I found in translations. The other lifeguard asks to take a look at it. He hands it over, and the other lifeguard unscrews one end, and a large flame comes out. They were not harmed and were actually annoyed at it and just thought it was some stupid prank. They then threw it out into a dumpster. Another bomb went off that day, and one of the lifeguards, after hearing that, went back to the dumpster in the evening, got the bomb that they put in the dumpster, and took it to the police. Okay,
I'm glad at least they did that.
That second bombing that happened today was about 3 kilometers away in Lignano, Sabidoro, another popular beach area. 10:30 a.m., Roberto Curcio, a tourist from Domodossola, sorry, I'm probably butchering this, went to open an umbrella. When he opened the umbrella, an 18 centimeter long, 3 centimeter wide metal pipe wrapped in a newspaper fell to the ground. The man picked it up and then it exploded. This caused serious damage to him. His hand was seriously injured and his femoral artery was severed. He lost consciousness, was taken to the emergency room and transferred to a hospital in Udine for emergency surgery due to a serious hemorrhage. From what I could find, he survived the emergency surgery, and his right hand was ruined and his femur was seriously injured. So he went to the beach, and there's an umbrella there that's not open. He pops it open, and the bomb falls right out. So the guy stuffed it in a closed umbrella.
I guess you'll probably get into this later maybe, but I guess I'm just confused what the purpose of these are. If it's not killing, like you would think that if they're happening over a period of time, if the goal was to kill, changes would be made to these things so that they would be more deadly.
There is one little theory, but it's really hard to corroborate. It's just something somebody speculated and got to the Wikipedia that I think some investigators believe might be the case.
Okay, so
but it hinges on one guy being the bomber who was exonerated later.
Okay. Well, I will look forward to hearing what you get to.
Yeah. From the bomb turned in by the lifeguards on that, from all that, they could tell that the bomb was more sophisticated than they had expected. The bomber had a better understanding of explosives than what they had thought they would have had. They originally thought these were probably crude bombs, but upon just finally getting to look at one without destroying it right away, they realized that they were dealing with somebody who's intelligent.
Well, intelligent or just like good at making a bomb.
Probably intelligent to understand how to make a bomb like that.
Okay.
Because it's more sophisticated, not just like a crude exploding device.
Okay, I see what you mean.
From here, the Unabomber goes on a roughly 4-year hiatus.
Wow.
In that time, one bomb was discovered unexploded in 1998 on February 1st in Poincico. An unexploded bomb was discovered near a restaurant. It is debated if it is connected to the Unabomber first off, or not, as this may have been a leftover bomb that was never discovered for some reason, because not all of these bombs worked. And so this could be one that just never went off and was found years later. The act of bombings then resumed in 2000.
What do you think happened? Like, is there theories as to what happened?
Brings up some of that too, because there are some of those.
Sorry, I'm jumping ahead, but this is obviously, this is the kind of stuff that fascinates me.
And this is interesting on why there's a break, what people believe might be the cause. Some of them are, once again, dependent on certain people being the bombers.
But everybody, there's been no suspect. Like, no one.
And on top of this, just keep this in mind too, we have, unlike somebody like Ted Kaczynski, who I believe he left messages with his, or like there was a motive to his.
There was a motive, yeah.
The Ted, what's it called? The Zodiac killer left notes and stuff, like people know stuff. The bomber left nothing. In this entire thing, the bomber never leaves a single message or anything directing you why this is happening.
So it's all a matter
targeted, and even if this is all one person, multiple, or copycats.
Yeah, it's all a matter of just human interpretation. Yeah,
because all these bombs are similar.
Yeah.
And it's
I was going to say, I would imagine that they would be able to determine if the bombs are made similarly.
Yeah, they are. They're for the most part, they're
which would be indicative of.
I'll get to the point.
Same person.
There is a point where they stop becoming pipe bombs and they become more creative. Not in a good way.
Okay.
So, the act of bombings resumed in 2000, so 4 years after the last major explosion associated with the Unabomber. The first case was on March 6, 2000, in San Vito al Tagliamento. The first bomb is discovered unexploded, which is good, but what was alarming is where the bomb was found. There was a carnival on that Monday. The unexploded bomb was found inside a streamer spray can. Like one of those spray cans that pulls out streamers, says streamers being in there was a bomb.
Wow.
And this was probably targeted towards children. That would have been one that might not kill the child, but would take the hand, most likely.
Oh my god, that's so fucked up.
And not every kid is as fortunate to miss them like this. There will be one later. And
that might be a trigger warning you might want to put in the...
Yeah. I already talked about harm to children, but I'll put a trigger warning when we get to that one.
Okay.
So in Lignano Sabidoro, which we talked about earlier, that's the beach that had the guy with the umbrella, another bombing happens on July 6th. So 70-year-old Giorgio Novelli, a retired carabinieri marshal, I don't know what that means, was on vacation with his wife.
So not like the Caribbean?
No.
Okay.
I don't know. And I believe there are other family members too. He's walking along the beach when he found a metal pipe in shallow water. The pipe was approximately 25 centimeters long, 3 centimeters wide, sealed with a cap and duct tape. There was an electrical wire that was protruding from one of the ends. He picked it up and carried it for around 400 meters when it exploded. He was seriously injured by the explosion. He was injured in his head and mouth. The cap came off and hit him there. He lost consciousness and was taken by an air ambulance to the Udine hospital. A man like Novelli was not the intended target of this bomb, however, most likely. It was actually children. The bomb was placed on the beach outside of a children's home that they used often. I think there are quite a few children who live there. They would go out and play at the beach, and this bomb was there for them to find. This is the, however, last of the pipe bombs. There are no more pipe bombs after this. I believe that the Unabomber realized that people would start looking more closely for metal pipe bombs and switch things up. You will see the Unabomber got creative on how to hide bombs. The bombings persisted for a few more years, and it's not good that he got creative on this. It is. It's so much more scary. I'm not trying to give props to a awful person, but it's genius how he got around on this, and it is really impressive on how he did this. And this is what makes it so hard to determine who this guy is, because he was intelligent. He knew what he was doing.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, that's something that draws me to psychology in the first place. It's just like this idea that, people can be magnificently intelligent and be the worst people that the planet has ever seen. And yet you cannot deny that they are people who are geniuses.
Yep. Now, I also might be wrong on my pipe bomb remark, because despite the fact it said this one was the last pipe bomb, there was also a few months later when another bomb went off on September 1st. There was a chance it just written wrong that was a pipe bomb, but in San Stino di Lavenza, another bomb goes off, presumably a pipe bomb. This time it is in a vineyard during the grape harvest, so strategically planned to get somebody. This resulted in a woman being slightly injured in her heel. 2 months later, on November 1st, we have an interesting span of bombs. 2 months later, so November 1st, a new type of attack occurs. In Pordenone, in Portuguaro, Azani Decimo, Azani Decimo, hold up. I think it's pronounced because Azani Decimo, I think I mentioned, I think that's the location, but here, yeah, that is a location, but here I have it written as a person, so I doubt that was the right case. Probably something I lost in translation. So a man goes to the supermarket called Continente to get some groceries. He purchased a carton of eggs, and when he took them out at home, one of the eggs had a strange thread coming out of it. He carefully packaged the carton and took it to the police. They were able to defuse the bomb and send it to a forensic lab in Rome. So there was a bomb inside of one of the eggs in an egg carton.
Did they figure out what that thread was? Like, did they think it was actually a wire?
Might have been a wire for it. Might have been something to help explode up. But
because like that, to me, that just is like understandably a good thing that person was able to see that. But like, what would the purpose of that be?
Maybe it was supposed to explode when he opened it, and it just did not go well, and the bomber didn't set it up properly, which could be the case. I mean, that's
good.
It's hard to probably set up a egg bomb.
Well, I've never even heard of that in my life.
Yep. So from what could be told, the Unabomber most likely bought the eggs between October 29th to November 1st. He then went back home, replaced the egg with one filled with explosive powder, and a detonator was put in. He would have had to boil the egg and then hollow out the inside and then put the explosive stuff in there, including a AA battery, detonator, and explosive powder, and then like seal it up to make it look inconspicuous, which he did pretty well.
Why would they have to boil it?
Because he needed to make the egg solid to support the stuff he's putting in. He had to get the liquid out.
Yeah.
But
you couldn't get the liquid out and it'd still be a shell?
But I think if you get the liquid out just by draining it, you can't dry out the inside, but hard boiling is easier to hollow out and leave it a dry inside probably.
Right.
I don't know the science between. That's just what I'm thinking. I don't know the science behind hiding a bomb in a hard-boiled egg.
I don't either, but I'm just thinking about hard-boiled eggs and how much of a pain in the fucking ass they are to peel.
How much of a pain do you think it is to put a bomb in an egg? Probably getting a hard-boiled egg is not as much of a pain.
That's what I'm saying. Like
if he's willing to put
peel, how would you freaking hollow
If he's willing to put a bomb inside of an egg, he's more than likely probably willing to boil an egg.
I mean, yeah.
One of those two.
That's crazy. That's like a crazy thing to be like. Actually, I'm just gonna find the most creative, fucked up way that I could figure out what to put a bomb in, and then I'm gonna do it.
Yep. There was a hair and saliva that was able to be covered from it, and DNA was collected.
Oh.
It has not been matched to anybody yet. The same article mentioned that another bomb was discovered and exploded the week prior, and possibly others as well in the weeks prior, but I found nowhere else where it was stated besides this one article, so I'm not sure. Also, on November 1st, a bomb was found in the same vineyard as the one with the explosion from September. This bomb seems to not explode and was recovered.
This is a dumb question, maybe. Does Italy have like a CODIS?
The CODIS.
So CODIS is the U.S. Database for
idea.
I think it's DNA, but it could be.
I have no idea. You're asking the person who would never know.
I was just curious.
And also, we're talking in the early 2000s, so would the U.S.
Yeah, CODIS was created, I think, in the 80s.
Is that maintained by the FBI? The FBI does help with this, with surveillance on the suspect. Because they use FBI software, but I don't know if Italy has as much DNA collection. infrastructure in their own country without having to rely on another, which then that country probably doesn't have the, like, US probably doesn't have like the bandwidth to keep track of so many Italians, nor do they have legal jurisdiction probably.
Okay.
Back on this, you ready for that, or are you still looking something up on this?
I'll look up, but you're good. I'm just looking to see it. Yeah, so CODIS stands for Combined DNA Index System. It's managed by the FBI. It operates at local, state, and national levels with the national tier specifically known as the National DNA Index System, which is the NDIS, which that I've also heard of before.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go to a few days later, still in Portuguaro on November 7th, around 8:30 p.m., a can of tomatoes was purchased at another supermarket. Also, fun fact, when you directly translate the word supermarket, like the Italian word for supermarket, it comes up as hypermarket.
I love
so
that.
There's some words where I could tell were wrong, and sometimes I couldn't always tell what it had to be, but this one I could. This time, a woman who was a factory worker, Nadia Ross, was injured while cooking. She sustained serious injuries to her hand as a bomb went off from inside a can of tomatoes.
Oh my god.
Her left hand is seriously injured from this incident. Her left thumb came off but was reattached at the Pordenone Hospital.
Damn.
From the investigation, it was determined that the Unabomber put the explosive from the lower joint of the package. I see you looked at your thumb when I mentioned something about the thumb coming off.
Yeah.
But
my poor thumb.
They could tell that they put it in from a lower joint of the package and then resealed the package perfectly. The cap, I think this might have been a jar of tomatoes, actually. I can't tell. But it said can, but it almost sounds like cap, but how they're saying it. The cap of the can appeared still sealed. So he knew what he was doing on how to hide this in there without it getting found. The police...
Was there still tomatoes in it? Too?
Yeah.
So he put a working bomb inside of something that was likely, at the very least... Watery, viscous.
Which he could... Probably because he could also put a bigger bomb in a can than what he could in an egg, too. Because the egg one was based on a AA battery.
I mean, I'm just more thinking about the fact that it worked at all with, like, the electrics and stuff whenever...
Yep. I don't know.
Was it a can?
The police then searched the whole supermarket and inspected every item.
The hypermarket, excuse me?
Yeah. They searched everything with metal detectors. Luckily, nothing else was found from this search.
Bro. Is the supermarket not full of things that are metal?
I think they're looking for just, like, if it wasn't something that would have caught it. I don't know.
Because I mean, a can is if it was in a can, it's metal. If it was in a jar, its lid was likely metal.
But also, they checked everything's in there which would have metal, so I don't know how that went.
Yeah, so like you can't scan over another can of tomatoes because it's still gonna show that there's metal.
I don't know.
You're right. I love the effort, but I just don't think that it wasn't executed in the way that made sense or makes sense to me. But all right.
So we got one more incident in 2000. This happened in November, like the past two, on November 17th in Portuguaro, still in that area. It is again a supermarket-related one. A woman had bought a tube of mayonnaise. And her
mayonnaise?
Yep, the instrument.
I was just going to ask, is mayonnaise an instrument?
Her husband, a soldier, was suspicious of the hardness of the tube. He turned in the tube of mayonnaise to the police, and they then discovered a bomb was inside the mayonnaise. No one was harmed.
I'm glad no one was harmed. Let me tell you.
That's a third bomb in a row in a piece of food.
Yeah, which is terrifying.
At a supermarket.
Well, when you think, like, if you go back to your case on the Schuylkill notes, like, with that being slid into food containers and things like that, it's like, that's going to be something that clearly you are going to get somebody to see it or to view it or to touch it or whatever. I guess I'm fascinated because I don't think that this would happen in the United States. Not the bombing part, the fact that people are suspicious of shit and they take it directly to the police.
Yep.
I don't think that the United States would do that. Like, people, I'm overgeneralizing here, but it just seems like these people have such a knack for self-preservation that, like, they're just, like, on the win, like, the off chance that something is a bomb because they know bombs have been going off in Italy for this amount of time. Hey, this is suspicious looking. I'm going to take it to the police. I just don't think that a lot of Americans would have that mindset.
I don't think so either. Now,
myself included, probably.
Yep. We go into 2001, where one bombing happened all year. This is on November 2nd.
For Italy.
Yeah.
We also didn't have bombs that year, but we did have.
Yeah, let's just gloss over that. That's a different topic. On November 2nd,
I'm not laughing because that's funny. I'm laughing because Frank doesn't want to talk about it and he said we're glossing over it.
On November 2nd, so we're almost a year after the last bombings,
Wow.
in Monte de Lavenza. November 2nd is All Souls Day, which is observed by many Catholics. Italy is a very Catholic country. There was a bomb disguised as a candle in a cemetery.
Holy shit.
A caretaker, 60-year-old Anita Boothie, bent down to pick up the candle because it was strangely an unlit candle. It exploded in her hand. Nails, bolts, and other pieces of iron came out and hit her. She ended up losing her left hand, a finger on her right hand, and sight in her right eye from the attack.
Oh my gosh.
So she was seriously injured.
Yeah. That's the first one to lose vision, right?
Yes. And there will be one more. That was only her right eye. She lost vision.
But still, you take your right eye. That's literally half of your vision.
And then she lost a whole left hand and a finger on the other hand.
Oh my god.
So she lost 6 total digits and an eye, which that's pretty bad. But it was just an unlit candle there, and she was so confused on why there's an unlit candle as a caretaker. And this is the first candle bomb he made.
Well, I'm thinking too, like, if you're thinking a candle, that's probably a skinny candle, right? Like, that's what would be used in...
It was a Voltaire or Voltive. I forget. I have it written later. It's like those tea candles, like those, like, size ones.
The ones that are, like, the size of a quarter?
Like that, but some of them are taller. Like, that's the shape, though.
Yeah, like, but it's
like
not
this.
that round. Or it's not that, like, the diameter's not that much.
They vary a little bit. It looks like some of them, like, for church ones, like, think of church candles, so sometimes they're like up to 2 inches in diameter.
I was gonna say, I guess if I remember the ones from Croatia, they were pretty wide in diameter. They could be, like, 1 to
2 inches in diameter, I think.
Yeah, I'm thinking, like, a tea candle is usually...
If you can do it one in a...
in an egg.
He can definitely do one in a 1-inch candle, especially if he has the height for it, too. He'll have more height than what he does in an egg.
And a tube of mayo.
And a tomato can, which caused the thumb to be lost and reattached, luckily. But this guy is he's smart. He knows what he's doing with these small bombs, and he knows how to hide them without people suspecting.
That's so scary.
Now we go to 2002. The bombings resume. In Porcia, on July 23rd, a bomb was hidden inside a jar of Nutella that was sold at a supermarket called Standa, a chain that ceased to exist actually in the same year, but I don't think the bombing had anything to do with it, however. A woman purchased a jar of Nutella, and around 8:45 p.m., she noticed that there were weird noises and fumes coming from it. She placed it on the windowsill and got away from it. The bomb in the jar of Nutella then exploded, and nobody was injured. Investigators assumed it was intended to target children, which we've already seen with some of the previous bombs, because Nutella might be something for kids.
Nutella is definitely not for... I mean, kids eat it, but, like, it's not geared towards kids. At least not in the United States.
On September 2nd of the same year, in Pordenone, another bomb went off targeting children again.
Holy fuck.
This one, just be warned, the next couple will be a little bit more graphic for kids. A 5-year-old boy, Claudio Cicalo, was given a tube of soap, of, like, bubble soap, like ones you blow to make bubbles.
Yeah.
At the Mercatone Zeta shopping center. It was a gift from his aunt and uncle, and when he tried to open it, there was a bang. He was then covered in blood and on the ground. His mother and aunt were also injured in the blast. He was left with burns on his hands and stomach. No loss of any, like, digits or hands, but he was burned on parts of his body.
Where was the blood from?
I think from, like, still the impact, because, like, there's still shrapnel hitting him.
Okay, but he didn't need anything amputated. He didn't lose a limb or a digit or...
Yeah.
Okay, what about his aunt and mom? Did they have any...
I didn't seem serious enough to mention, because everyone focused on the fact the kid got hit.
Which makes sense.
Drew a lot of attention to the area, and there was outrage over this one, especially with the child being injured. Same year, on December 25th, the next bombing happens.
On Christmas.
In Cordanone's, a Christmas bombing, unfortunately. During midnight mass that started on Christmas Eve, so some places call it Christmas Eve, some people call it Christmas, but a bomb went off 10 minutes after midnight above a confessional booth in the Church of Santa Maria Maggiore.
Oh my gosh.
There were plainclothes police officers there who evacuated everyone, and service resumed outside. Fortunately, nobody was injured.
Oh, good.
Now we head to 2004, and some of the attacks become much more brazen. Pordenone.
More brazen than what they already are.
Yeah, this one's going to be crazy. In Pordenone, on March 24th,
hey, that's my mom's birthday.
A bomb exploded at 12:23 p.m. in a toilet in the Palace of Justice, which is a courthouse. This was on the second floor near the office of a certain prosecutor, Domenico Labozetta, who was investigating the Unabomber. The Unabomber either was afraid that they were onto them or wanted to send a message.
Oh my God.
Despite confidence that it would reveal the identity of the surveillance tapes, they were too much aware to determine who it was on the tape.
There was too much
Where on the tape? Like, I'm pretty sure this is like a VHS tape.
Oh,
so
okay.
The tape itself could have actual wear on it.
Yeah, and so it wasn't like clear video. But that is the definition of brazen, being brazen enough to enter into that place, knowing that like you could get caught and but you're going for the person who. Wow. So did anyone get hurt because of that one? So it was just in a toilet though?
Yep.
Can you imagine? You go to sit on the toilet and you just take a dookie and then your ass is blown off?
Talk about explosive shits.
I was going to say, is that what it feels? Can we equate that to hemorrhoids?
Maybe. But
I'm just kidding. Not making light of the situation.
This is a trigger warning. This is another one that involves a child being injured.
This is crazy that he goes back and forth.
Yep. And that's why it's hard to figure out a motive.
Yeah.
But the method of the bomb delivery is very similar each time. That's why they still think it's the same person.
That or like it's somebody where they're working together and there's two very...
Well, that also is a theory too, that there's multiple people.
Some people go, yeah, wow.
But a month later, on April 25th, in San Biagio de Calada, I think that's how you say it, families were celebrating Liberation Day. At 11:30 a.m., 9-year-old Francesca Girardi was by the riverbed and found a marker, or pen, I think it was a marker, it's like a translation issue, that had not been there earlier. She picked it up and it exploded. She lost 3 fingers on one hand and was blinded in one eye.
Oh my God.
It was a 9-year-old girl that this happened to. The girl was able to recount that a gray-haired man was nearby before she picked it up and he had been smiling. Other people had confirmed seeing the man, but nobody knew who he was and he was never identified.
Ew.
Could be the person, could not, because also one of the main suspects, I believe, is bald. That's who a lot of people point to, might be.
But even then, like...
Yep. Now,
the fact that he was like basically creepy enough that she could recall that he was like nearby staring at her and smiling.
This is the only time somebody definitively marks somebody that they think might be the bomber at a scene.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Now, we head into. Actually, no, we're still in 2004. This one, actually, no, that was the end of 2003. No, we're still in 2004. But let me double check something on this because I actually forgot to put the date on this one. Sorry about that, gang. I did a little oopsie here. The last two were actually in 2003. That was my bad. This one is in 2004.
Okay.
In Portoguaro, around Easter, another bomb was found. A cleaner in the Church of St. Agnes found a strange object inside the cushion of a kneeler, and so it was attempted to be hidden. The cleaner took it to a priest who assumed it to be some April Fool's joke. He showed it to other people until a colleague got suspicious and sent it to the police. The police then determined that this was a nitroglycerin device that would have exploded when kneeled on. This seems to have been a really good chance to either kill, if not cause a leg or both to be lost.
Oh my God.
So it was in a kneeler in a church. So the kneeler would go down, you'd kneel on it, and the pressure would cause that to explode right under.
Like a regular patron, or are we talking like it was
a regular
where
patron, I believe.
It wasn't where a priest or anything would be.
Sound like it was just regular patron.
So there's a huge connection between these bombings and
like the
religious.
Fourth time a church was targeted, but then there's so many that target supermarkets, some that target a beach, a vineyard's been targeted, and that's the
things
thing
that matter the most to people in Italy. So you're terrified everywhere you go.
Yeah, but there's no clear pattern. Is the unfortunate like it's
just
seen
goes back
here though
and
that he
forth.
swapped off a pipe bomb, so he hasn't done a pipe bomb in a while.
Yeah.
Now on March 13th at a church in San Nicola Vesco in Monte de Lavenza, a 6-year-old girl was lighting a votive candle with the help of a woman. The candle exploded, seriously injuring the girl and slightly injured the woman. An elderly bystander man fainted from seeing the blood. And Anita Busi, the person who was originally harmed by a candle explosive, coincidentally, she actually had lit that same candle the day before. And so it's believed that the candle she lit was then replaced the next day with a different candle.
Wow.
So I don't know if it was planned or there's a level of irony that it was the same person, or like just a connection or coincidence that it was the same person who lit the first one tried to lit the first one.
Let's just talk about resilience too.
The girl underwent successful surgery and survived.
I'm glad to hear. Let's just talk about the irony though of this older woman picking up a candle in the cemetery and it explodes, and then she still has the bravery to go light additional candles later. Yeah. I think I'd be she's the one who horrified. Lost
a hand, a finger, and sight in an eye.
Yeah, and it's still like so strong, like in her faith and things, that she is going to go continue to worship and light candles and do those things. That's amazing.
Now, 3 days later in Concordia, Sagittaria, I think this is actually
Sagittarius.
I think this one might be in Romania, actually.
Okay, so
or it might be in Italy. It was hard to tell. I saw some conflicting things.
Okay.
An unexploded bomb was discovered in a box of mackerel. It was removed and assumed to have possibly been in there for at least a year.
Dumb question. How far away is Romania from Italy?
I mean, not awfully too far.
Are they bordering each other?
I don't think they're bordering each other, but they're fairly close.
Maybe he was on vacation.
So it's like, I think, 2 countries north of Croatia. And if you remember, Croatia is across the Adriatic Sea from Italy, so not far at all.
Yeah, okay.
3 days later, that's the one. On July 9th at 1:30, I think p.m., a woman went for a bike ride in Portoguaro, so a place we talked about multiple times. She was leaving when she heard something fall from the bottom of the seat of her bike. It was an explosive casing. It was determined to be a nitroglycerin device that was placed under the seat, much like the kneeler. It was supposed to explode when she sat on it. However, it had rained for a few days prior, and the bomb was ruined from that.
But it could be inside of a jar of mayo and tomatoes.
Depends on how the bomb was made. This one might have been just made cheaper and more easily.
It's interesting, like, there's just the randomness of who this person is going after.
That's the problem with this. There is not... Ted Kaczynski's were like a connected group, like a group of people who we went for. This is not a connected group. These are random people who just get targeted.
I was gonna say, but it's also not just that there is no definitive like victim profile. It's genuinely random as shit for it to just get put under the bike seat of some girl. Like that's it's an opportunity. But also he is making it's like some of the bombs are made specifically because of to look a certain way, and then some of that, like, did he know that this was the specific bike he was going to be putting it under? Like, that's crazy. Like, what kind of surveillance is he doing beforehand?
There was only 2 more cases in this.
Okay.
So now we go to the very last bombing in 2006. This was in Porto Santa Margherita.
Margarita.
So it's in that area and happens on May 6th of 2006.
Wow, they just looked at me when I did that.
An engaged couple found a bottle with a message in it on the beach, so there's like paper in it. Massimiliano Bozo, a nurse, he goes and picks it up and opens it. It explodes and causes serious damage to his left hand and his neck. The artery is barely missed by shrapnel. The woman is also injured, but not as bad. This is the last bomb to explode.
Oh, and he was a nurse?
Yeah.
Oh, he probably couldn't work as a nurse again.
I don't know what happened after.
Oh.
In 2007, in Zappola, on October 28th, a hunter finds an unexploded bomb. It is found inside of a Coca-Cola bottle and is assumed to have been from an older unexploded bomb. I think it's only connected to the Unabomber in 2022, but despite it at the time still fits the the method of bomb delivery at the time for the guy.
Wow.
But so he did a message in a bottle for one of his last ones. I know that took a long ass time to go through all that, so we won't get into the suspect pool, the clues, evidence, and all of the investigation details I could get and write in a timely manner without confusing myself based on the translations. Because I probably cut a few things out because just translations were very difficult to sometimes connect because English stuff was so much different than what the Italian stuff had. I don't speak Italian, unfortunately. But through all these bombings, there was a good amount of items collected over the course of all this time. There were remains of many exploded devices that were recovered, and a number of unexploded devices also found. There was DNA evidence from a hair and saliva both from the egg bomb that was retrieved and unexploded. One item had a partial fingerprint, don't know which one it was, and they also kind of tried to determine a profile on the person. Regarding his profile, investigators believe they determined a few things regarding the Unabomber. They believe that the bomber was a man, 35 to 50 years old. He would have had great dexterity, obsessive on attention to details, and a chemical expertise. They believe he lived alone or with somebody who couldn't interfere, or he might have also lived somewhere that was more isolated or secluded so people couldn't question as much. It points to the fact that he might not watch the attacks, as besides the one with the girl who saw the man smiling, nothing points out to someone watching consistently these bombings. He attacked on multiple Christian holidays in some churches, but a lot of attacks missed this grouping as well. It became increasingly challenging to determine a motive for the attacks, and none have ever been definitively found.
Wow.
Before we go any further, we're going to take a brief moment to take a message from some of our friends.
If you're anything like me, you're always hunting for stories that make your skin crawl in the best way. That's why I have to tell you about Grimly. Every week, they dig into the unholy, the unsolved, and the deeply unsettling. From chilling true crime to eerie tales that blur the line between fact and folklore. The production is hauntingly good, the storytelling absolutely captivating. It's the kind of podcast that stays with you long after you finish listening. So if you're ready to explore the darker side of history and humanity, subscribe to Grimly wherever you get your podcasts. Just don't say I didn't warn you.
All right, thank you for listening to that message from our friends. Now back to the Italian Unabomber. Because of what I mentioned, the investigation was extremely challenging. Minimal evidence and no clear motive made it extremely challenging. At one point, an entrepreneur, Giorgio Panto, placed a €50,000 euro bounty on the Unabomber. It was shortly after the bounty that the area of Fagari had bombs in it. This was seen by some as revenge, and I don't know which bombings this was associated with because I'm not really the best at knowing Italian locations. Something, it could have been revenge, something could have just been coincidence. Due to the length of all this happening and the fact that it all happened in the same area, turnover became a serious problem. A special prosecutor's office was set up just for this investigation on April 25th, 2003. Fortunately, the fact that I'm talking about today, it means it did not prove successful.
That sucks. It sucks sometimes when we do cases like this and stuff, and we know how horrific these things are, and we just know that it's still not solved.
Yep. The first bombings were originally believed to be eco-terrorists or Nazis, but as more attacks happened...
Nazis?
Yes. But as more attacks happened, the theory of a lone attacker became more evident and popular for who it might be.
Wow.
Some thought it could be an American or Italian soldier as well, who suspended their bombings from 1996 to 2000 due to the war in Kosovo and having to be deployed there.
Oh, okay.
Interesting theory.
I was going to say that's a possibility.
Now, do you want me to go into some suspects?
No, we're done. I'm just kidding, of course. Yes, please go into the suspects.
All right. There are at least 5 suspects who I was able to get some information on, and only 2 of them I could get their names on. And maybe a possible, third suspect get a name on. It's debatable if he's a suspect or an accomplice, is what they believe.
Okay.
I'm going to go over the unnamed ones first. There was not any reason why each was ruled out, and I'm assuming with DNA or can't be connected with enough of the bombings. One unfortunate thing I found is one source that had so much of the bombing information, the link that goes to the Wikipedia page is no longer a good link, and the website is an Italian website, and I do not know how to navigate that.
Oh, that stinks. It
is unfortunate. So, for the first one we're going to go over is a young man from Aveno, I think it's spelled right, who was a suspect and was being investigated after he seriously injured himself after he was found making bombs and had bomb-making instructions. He was found because he seriously injured himself in 1996. They investigated him and couldn't link him to the crimes.
Okay.
That's all I have. I don't have any more information, so do not ask. They investigated a man from Sicily who was described as, this is in quotes, a precocious motherless boy.
Jesus.
Ouch. His ex-girlfriend worked at one of the supermarkets that was targeted. That's really all the information, nothing else. Lastly,
are they saying as if, like,
he
was mad at her because they weren't dating anymore, and so he targeted the supermarket that she worked at? Okay.
Lastly, we have a professor from Pordenone in 2006. He was 48 years old and single. In his basement were materials identical to what was found in some of the bombs. They found pens with no ink or refills in them, so like a pen with nothing in the tube, which was something found in some of the bombs.
Oh.
4 packages of Kinder Eggs, a package of bubble soap, and a bag from one of the supermarkets targeted, the Continent bag. All of these objects are also pretty mundane and not too notable as well.
But they all basically have something to do with...
Oh, wait, did I ever talk about the Kinder Egg explosion?
No.
Oh, shit.
I just assumed it was a connection to just the regular egg.
Oh, my goodness. I skipped over this one. In 2005, on January 26th, the Unabomber placed 2 Kinder Surprise chocolate eggs on top of a telephone exchange, which I think that's like a telephone booth or something similar. I think that's one of the ones like that's on the wall, not in a booth. But it was near a courthouse in Via Verde. A 12-year-old boy on a school trip took the container and kicked the eggs into a fence. And when the egg hit the fence, it exploded and no one was injured.
As, you know, much as I despise the antics of preteens and tweens, good on him that he did that instead of try to open it to eat it.
Yeah.
Someone taught him something, you know, at the very least, don't eat strange food that's sitting around.
Or just kick shit because you can, and then it worked out for him. But
either way.
It can't... Once again, either targeting kids or a courthouse. Can't really tell which one because it was outside the courthouse, but a kid picked it up.
I was going to say, I feel like that's less aimed at kids maybe and more aimed at whoever was going to be using that phone outside the courthouse.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I forgot that one. I accidentally skipped over. But yeah, that was one of the items. They found Kinder Eggs in the professor's place. All these objects are pretty mundane and not too notable. They also found syringes, tubes, filters, and latex gloves. They couldn't find anything that could connect him enough and described him as a solitary, uncompromising, strict, and very religious man. That's in quotes. They eventually returned all the items to him and let him go.
Wow.
Well, they never even arrested him. They said, you're not the guy. Now let's get to the 2 most notable suspects that are actually named.
Those not noticeable enough that there was literally a package of... Or notable enough? This dude had a package of Kinder Eggs.
He's not notable enough.
A bag from a place that had a bomb sent to it.
Now our next 2 guys have some more meat to their things, but
is it possible that this was like a posse?
Possibly. I do get a little bit on one of the suspects.
Okay.
But we have first is in the 2 named Andrea Agostinis. He was a professor and a journalist. On August 5th, 1996, the day after the attack on August 4th, 1996, that's where the guy walked 400 meters with the bomb and blew up.
Which, by the way,
and the lifeguards found the other bomb and threw it out.
I was thinking in my brain, 400 meters, that's roughly 4 football fields, not including the end zones, right?
Yeah, that's a quarter of a mile.
Crazy.
Yeah, we're back on that day. So the day after that, a group known as November 17th Organization, or group, which is a Greek terrorist group called ANSA, the largest Italian news organization, and they told them that they were responsible for the attacks. Around the same time, they had 2 attacks in the United States. Apparently, in all of Italy, there was only one man, Andrea Agostinis, who knew anything about this group.
That's suspicious.
Days after the attack, he investigated it and published his findings. He also claimed that he was told by the terrorist group too, like they called him before they called ANSA.
Okay.
And the police believed he was the author of the call and investigated him over it. They found insufficient evidence into it and dropped the case in 1999. The claims of the November 17th group or organization were also deemed to probably be false of them being responsible for the attack.
Okay.
Lastly, we have the most significant suspect, Elvo Zornida, an engineer from Azzano Decimo. On May 26, 2004, police searched his house for evidence and found a few clues that led them to believe that he was their guy. They would continue to monitor him for 2 years with the assistance of the FBI as well, and he would have solid alibis during multiple bombings, but not all of them.
Interesting. Okay.
Now, I was finally able to find a good source, an Italian one, of 17 points to believe that he could be the bomber. And this is the best list I could find, so I'm going to go over the 17 points. You ready for that?
Yeah.
He lived within 30 kilometers of each of the bombing locations. The batteries found in some of the bombs were the same unlisted brand, so like it's not name brand batteries, that were found in shopping centers that were close to where he lived. The materials in the bombs were cheap and similar to items he had in his shed. They found at least 6 Bic pens with their ink tubes missing. His wife admitted to finding some of these tubes in the house, like some of these, pens found the tubes in the house. The ink tubes, the pens without the ink tubes were found in bombs. And we had another guy, one of the other guys mentioned before those.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I wonder if it's like a collective group.
No. He was found with the outer wrapper of markers, which I think that just I also mean like in either the wrapper or like to prove that he bought some, or the hollowed out marker. It's kind of hard when you get to the translation part. And also the wrapper of firecrackers and mint cans with cartridges glued inside, which seems to point that some of the material for the bombs and possibly bomb making there, Zornita had the technical skills to do this. He was an engineer, and he did admit to the police that he did have the technical skills.
How? Okay.
Which I don't know why he admitted that to the cops, but he did admit to the cops that he had the skill to make these bombs.
I just don't understand how no one has been caught when it seems pretty like.
Batteries found in his house matched the same brand as the AA batteries found in the egg bomb and the Christmas bombing in 2002. A roll of tape that seemed to have possibly matched the tape on the candle bomb was also found. They also found a potentiometer, which I guess is something that can be used in a bomb, and it's in a TV at the time. They also he told them that he'd gotten it from an old television, but a technician contradicted his claim, and then Zornita then changed it to say that he bought it from a flea market. No idea why he would lie initially like that.
Yeah.
A lemon-scented vial was found hidden inside of a shoebox, and that vial that had been found, the lemon-scented vial, was the same type of, like, similar-ish vial to the one that was found in the church kneeler. Wow. A compressed air canister that was similar to what was used for the explosives in the hidden food was also found. Don't know how that really correlates. I do think there's some mistranslations there. Zornita had made a identical copy of the parish bulletin of his parish, which was found inside of his house. This is the same parish that the cemetery candle explosion happened at. So it was his parish too. But he had a copy of their bulletin recreated in his house. Zornita, the powder from the empty firecrackers could not be found, and they were never recovered. Zornita claimed that it was to make his own fireworks, but this was denied by law enforcement, his wife, and a friend. All said that that's not what he did.
Interesting.
Zornita moved from Belluno to Pordenone in 1987, and in the following year, in 1988, there was an explosion in the courtyard of the elementary school. It was 1,000 meters away from where Zornita lived. In 1993, he moved to Azzano Decimo, which is also still a province in Pordenone. 2 explosions happened in Azzano Decimo 2 years after he moved there. He had a room in his house that was his laboratory, and he's the only one who had keys to access that room.
How not, man? Who did this?
In the pause of the bombings, it aligned when he and his wife had their daughter and spent those years helping her out heavily in those years.
I was thinking earlier when you had said that there was a break, I wonder if it was like either like they had a kid or somebody got sick in the family or...
This part here confused me on how it was written based on translation, so I did the best I could. Material used for the bombs was found to be sold in shops in Belluno and Lentiai, where Zornita had a house and visited those stores regularly. Which, I don't know, that one's just kind of weaker.
circumstantial, I would say.
Part of what was believed to be a possible motive and another suspect of this was his brother. I believe his first name was Giuseppe. Very stereotypical Italian name.
I was going to say that.
His brother had a serious problem with one of his limbs. Hence why the bombs may have been targeted at losing limbs, is what one of the beliefs is. His brother had a serious illness then in 2000, and then shortly after, churches were targeted. It could be seen as a religious crisis at that point, too, and we move away from pipe bombs as much.
Do we know how the brother lost a limb?
No idea.
Because I can understand if he lost it in, like...
If I could get some of these really deep sources and also live at the time, maybe, but because of how old it is, it's hard to answer some of these questions that are really good questions.
You know what I mean, though? Like, if, let's say, he had lost a limb at a playground when he was a kid, like something happened, something crazy happened, or he got into an accident that wasn't his fault and someone hurt him. Like, it could be a revenge plot against the people that, like, could be quote-unquote deemed as having some kind of part in what made his brother get sick and lose his limb.
I don't know.
But this is my... going into the psych field, I originally wanted to study serial killers. There's not enough serial killers out there or caught serial killers really to study. But this is the kind of stuff that gets me fascinated in that because of the, the potential motives and how you can, like, determine those things and just the psych behind all of that.
Really is interesting. There are 2 more points in this list. And this next ones are very long points. There were his telephone records and work records in July 2000 when one of the more serious attacks happened in the Legnano Beach area. He was out on business but did not specify where he was and did not submit any requests for typical business reimbursements that time. This was on the same day of that attack. From September to November of 2000, when 5 explosives were planted in that time, Zornita rarely used his phone. It was less than his usual. He had taken sick days around the time of the egg bombing, and the courthouse bombing did have very bad footage that may have possibly looked like him, but that's more of a stretch. He did say he was on the phone with his wife at the time of the court bombing, so it couldn't have been him. Very interesting.
That's a terrible alibi.
Lastly, after the Kinder Egg explosion, a piece of paper of what is inside the Kinder Egg was found inside the laboratory of where he worked. So that's where he worked his full-time job and something like that. Nothing else of the egg was found. No egg or foils or any trash related to a Kinder Egg was found in the laboratory. No one admitted to having a Kinder Egg when everybody at the company, like who would have had access to that area, was questioned. Zornita was also seen drilling something into a small object around the same time and would never admit to what he was doing. Those are the 17 main reasons I found.
How?
I know it seems, but
how did he get exonerated?
It's all circumstantial evidence. It's nothing like hard you can pinpoint.
This is some O.J. Simpson shit.
There was belief that
if the glove fits, you must acquit.
But there was, you're going to see how they botched this really bad.
Oh no!
There was belief that there may have been other people helping him to plant the bomb. So friends, family members, and colleagues were also DNA tested, and none came back positive for the match on the evidence they had. There's a chance he also might have taken somebody else's random DNA sample and put it on there too, but that's just a stretch I'm thinking.
So none of his family matches?
No.
So then
and that's why his brother was also a suspect. His brother was listed as a suspect also for the bombings or delivering of the bombs, but I didn't bring him up in my list because he got kind of brought up there.
That sucks, though, if none of his family matches, because traditionally that would indicate if the family has any kind of match that they could trace via lineage and genetics percentages and stuff like that to who it is. On
August 28th, 2006, the police raided the house, and with the assistance of the FBI, he had been under surveillance for some time. This is where some of the timeline and details get murky because it's hard finding the best translated sources, and some of the English sources are not that very good in what they have written on it. On October 10th of 2006, so this is a month and a half after he's raided, authorities believe they had another piece of evidence, a damning piece of evidence that would be conclusive. They found scissors on Zornita's that matched the cuts on a sheet of metal that was on one of the explosive devices. They used the tool mark method to confirm this theory. They also had a video of him like filing and grinding his scissors to possibly try and hide it or to sharpen his scissors. Basically just be to sharpen his scissors.
Just some weird shit.
The trial would start for Zornita, and on January 16, 2007, lawyer Maurizio Panes challenged the results of the scissor analysis. It was determined that a police officer, Ezio Zernar, had actually framed Zornitas. The investigation was crippled from this.
What?
It found out that Zernar had actually done the scissors stuff himself, cut sheet metal himself. That was in their evidence with Zornita's scissors to frame him.
Which is why he had to sharpen them, because they probably didn't fucking cut anything after cutting sheet metal.
No, they were made to, I think, cut sheet metal.
But I mean,
I think it's like a thin sheet metal.
But I would
think
imagine
he
that
has
you would
to
still have to
sharpen them regularly, which would make sense if he's using them in that sense. But yeah, Cop did the cut on the sheet metal that they used.
What was he expecting to come from? Like, what was this cop expecting to come from?
I don't know. The investigation was crippled from this, and Zornita's case would eventually be thrown out in January of 2009, and he was freed, and they didn't have any damning evidence. Zornita's job and his reputation were seriously injured. He lost his job, lost a lot of money, and people continue to accuse him ever since. In October of 2022, he received a compensation of 300,000 euros, and the state's attorney office has appealed this, and it is ongoing as of January of 2026.
Wow.
Yeah, recent. Additionally, Zornita was exonerated in 2025, again by DNA testing, causing him to no longer be a suspect. Beyond the suspects, there is no one else notable to bring up.
Wow.
Now, in recent years, the Treset prosecutor's office reopened the case after a formal request of 2 victims. The investigation showed 11 people who were suspect, and 10 of them were part of the initial investigation, so 1 new person. Last update I saw was they were postponing a hearing till March 18th, 2024, and there was no conclusion. That's the last I saw on this.
Wow.
That's just about everything I have,
That's
theories-wise.
That's crazy.
It could be some of those people, it could be a group of people, it could be copycats, it could be somebody just using other people to deliver the bomb or other people's stuff to hide it.
I really wish they would have tried to look in to see if there were any connections between, especially the 2 guys that seemed to have products that, were used or adjacent to where these bombs were found. So like the guy who shopped at the grocery store had the set of Kinder eggs.
Zornita had a similar situation where he also had some of those items.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'd be curious if any connection could be found between those 2. The people, because then that could show you if there's a partnership or, is there some kind of like underground club where they're learning how to make the same bombs?
Multiple people, but you have to still keep it like probably under like 5 or 10, under 10 or maybe 5 people to keep this secret enough.
Well, I mean, you think of MK Ultra last week, like at one time, no more than half a dozen like government workers knew that MK Ultra was a thing.
But when more people know, it got out pretty easily.
Exactly.
There's actually a scale that people have, like a mathematical scale, and how many people you know of a conspiracy and how likely it is to get out based on how many you know.
Ooh.
I think it's once you have 20 people in, it becomes very dangerous to get leaked.
That's
But
interesting.
in this case, I highly doubt there are 20 people in this bomb.
It sounds like it. Probably 2. I would have to think. I guess I'd be curious. I'm terrible at geography. How far apart all of these crime scenes were?
Within 30 meters of 30 kilometers of what's this?
But were they all? So they were like, if it was 30 kilometers, the most distance would be 60.
60, which isn't that much, honestly.
It's like 60 miles essentially. I know it's not the same, but I'm just saying, like, because a kilometer is a little bit shorter than a mile, right? It's like, or is it longer than a mile?
1.6 kilometers is a mile.
Yeah, so.
But when I take 60 divided by 1.6 to get it in miles?
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I would. The 37.5 miles.
That's when it's in mileage. It seems way smaller.
Yeah, I know. So 37.5 mile diameter is
we're
what
disgustingly
we're talking about.
American.
I know, but that's not that far distance, honestly, for somebody to drive.
I mean, 37 miles.
This is all fairly tight area.
Well, I'm thinking like that's basically from like a Dallas town to I don't even know Philadelphia?
Probably, maybe. Actually,
not
no,
down-
no,
no.
that's way too much.
Maybe like
I would say from you like
we should
North
probably.
PA to Palmyra. Sage, what are your thoughts on like? I gave you the people that it could be. I gave you the reasons why it wasn't them. What do you think could be the case of this?
I don't even know where to begin. I think that to me, my brain is leaning towards, at the very least, this could have been a duo that was working. Well, at the least, it could have been a singular person, but it sounds like a duo just because they seem to have the same items available in their home that also matched things that were in the
So you think it
box.
might be the two leading suspects who are doing it together?
Maybe. Or like, that's where I'm like, was there like a fucking class or something that they were taking, and like we just didn't figure out who ran the class because they don't want to talk?
But
Like,
what's difficult is this: if this is still an ongoing investigation, because I think it's
Yeah.
still open, because it was reopened in 2022 because of the victims who requested. I don't know if we'll ever get a solution to this, nor if I think it will be a while till we get all the information. Additionally, when it comes to English-speaking podcasts, this is a very not covered case.
yeah, well, I can only imagine. I'd never even heard of it, and I literally listened to Morbid, who was
I
the
found this
biggest
on
true
a
crime.
true crime iceberg, and when I found this, I'm like, this is actually really crazy.
Yeah,
So this is one that I hope other people listen to, maybe other podcasts, can cover it better than us, because I tried really hard on this one. This one took me longer than I expected, because you heard this is a complicated case.
yeah.
And there's a lot of more information I could probably get out there, but I don't speak Italian. Because part of the reason the case got reopened was a 2022 Italian podcast. I don't know Italian.
Neither. I mean, I took
And that
Latin.
one might have a really good information on it.
I took Latin for a long time, but that's mostly just for pattern recognition and
Yeah.
seeing like root words. Hearing someone speak Italian is a lot different than reading Italian.
Like nitroglycerin bomb, which I have no idea what that will be in Italian. It's probably not going
Well,
to
I
be
mean, if
something.
supermarket is hypermarket translated from
Not
Italian,
everything's one-to-one.
yeah, definitely not.
Star Wars, they jump to hyperspace, but when you and I get groceries, we jump to the hypermarket. So what do you think? Like, so that's your idea on this then?
Pretty much. I mean, I don't know. It's extremely devastating that it's not solved yet, and at the very least, I guess we could take solace in the fact that there hasn't been a ton of bombs since 2006.
Yeah. All right. Besides that, I don't think there's anything else to really say on this. So, in conclusion, an unknown person or potentially people conducted many bombings over the course of over a decade and a half. No one was ever killed, but many people were injured, and some forever with life-changing injuries. Despite the resources poured into this, no one was ever found, and it still remains unsolved to this day, and hopefully they figure something else. Any final thoughts on this stage before we get out of this one? There's going to be no goofy 1 out of 10 scale because this is a serious case.
No, honestly, I don't have many other thoughts.
All right. I don't think I have anything else to say. I think based on the time right now, we are roughly at like an hour 20 on this episode. This is definitely a longer one. I definitely went through it a bit faster than I thought I was going to go because I just kept reading through this. That was 10 pages of just horrible bombing shit. So thank you everyone for sitting through that. If you like what you're listening to, go check out our show notes for any sources if you're curious, or for the link to our socials like our Instagram. And if you like what you're listening, go share, comment, rate, review, subscribe. Every little bit helps us. Thank you everyone for taking their time to go check us out and listen to the episode on the Italian Unabomber. With that being said, I think it's time that Sage and I sign off. So Sage, are you ready?
I am ready
And remember,
to look for
the unknown
the unsung.
and the unseen.
Thanks for listening.
Bye guys.
Bye.